Well, this is our last night of late breaks, thank goodness. We got a little off schedule when I had all my holiday stuff to do with my family. I kept getting home so late I couldn't get our listings done in time. But after tonight, we'll be back in business. No more of this super late start time. So meanwhile, we do just have one thing to break tonight, and that is a little bit of Bowman Draft. Before we get started, though, some information to go over that we touch on every night. So for some of you, it's repeat information that you hear often. For others of you who might be new to the break, it will be, of course, all new to you. First thing up there, guys, is just to say about feedback. That's to let you know that my feedback is automated on eBay. I do that just so you don't have to wait on me to get caught up on feedback. So anytime you leave positive feedback for me, you're going to instantly get it in return. And of course, the second more important thing on that page is a note to say thank you, because I do appreciate everyone who bids and breaks and hangs out and chats with me. We are taking a look right now at breaks that are already listed on eBay. This is the stuff that we're going to be breaking over the next several days. And in recent days, I've been kind of mixing in 5-day breaks, which is how I normally list, and some 7-day breaks, trying to work ahead a little bit. So we've got a bit more up and running right now than we sometimes do. So we'll just kind of hit the highlights of the next few days anyway. Tomorrow night, we're going to break Contenders basketball again. It'll be the back half of a case that we already started. Then Donruss Optic Football, another full case of that tomorrow night. On Saturday, we'll open an 8-box case of Playbook and more Bowman's Best. On Sunday, we're going to have an autographed baseball jersey break along with the back half of the Bowman Draft case that we're going to start tonight. The back of that case will finish up on Sunday night. On New Year's Eve, we're going to start early at 7:30. We're going to do a 9-box basketball mixer, a 12-box football mixer. On Tuesday the 1st, we're also going to start early at 8:30. We'll do a half case of the TriStar Autograph Mini Football helmets, another case of Bowman's Best, and another case of Optic Football. Then when we get to Wednesday the 2nd, instead of having our nightly start time at 10, it's going to be pushed back to 9:30. And it will mostly stay that way, excuse me, probably through most of the winter. So Wednesday night is a basketball jersey, another case of Playbook, more Contenders basketball, and a full case there. On Thursday night, we'll do a football jersey break, more Bowman's Best baseball, and I did go ahead and order us in another 16-box master case of Revolution basketball. We'll do that Thursday as well. Sorry, guys, I'm a little under the weather, so I'm going to apologize in advance. There's probably going to be throat clearing and cough drops moving around in my mouth, and we may have to take some breaks to, clear the sinuses and things too. We're going to get through it the best we can, but might not be ideal. So shipping, expect it all to be out the door by Monday, which is New Year's Eve. There's a possibility I can get it out the door faster, and of course, if I can, I certainly will. And we don't need to worry about consolation cards because everybody's going to pull cards tonight. We got a lot of cards in this break. This is a 4-box half case of 2018 Bowman Draft Baseball Jumbo. And it's the start of a new case. So what that means is I'll be taking all 8 of our boxes out. I'll number them on the end and use random.org to determine which ones we open tonight, which versus the ones that we open in the second part of the break, which will be break number 2, which will be in a couple of nights. And of course, as I scroll down through there, you notice the eBay user ID was across from each team. Everything we're opening tonight ended tonight on eBay the 27th of December. And finally, I am taking autofocus out of the equation here. I manually set the focus. That's why it went out of focus a little bit right there. That's just, we're going to be able to look at it up closely, but that's why it makes the background go out of focus a little bit. In chat tonight, we have Card Collector, Hi Card Collector, and Jordan, and Griffin, and Ezekiel, and Card Collector, yeah, you want to get in on the NFL mixer and on the helmets. Yeah, those should both be fun. I mean, honestly, there's not too much stuff we open that isn't fun. because usually if it's not a whole lot of fun, I'm probably not going to be super interested in opening it, right? I like to open the stuff that's fun too, so. We don't have any, well, actually we do have one new release. It's Leaf Best of Football, comes out tomorrow. But to tell you the truth, I forgot it was coming because they kept changing the release date, and I forgot. So I don't have it listed. And then I thought about it last night, and then I forgot about it again by the time I listed tonight. So yeah, we'll get around to that eventually, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. Okay, so here are our boxes. I'm just numbering them on the end. I'm going to bring you along with me. We'll go over here to random.org, and I will enter 1 through 8 in there. I'll hit random one single time, and whichever 4 numbers come up first, we'll open those corresponding 4 boxes. All right, so it looks like we've got 5, 8, 1, and 6. So 1, 5, 6, and 8 we're opening up tonight. So let me get those sorted out here. Or more to the point, get the other ones out of the way, I guess. What did I say? 1, 5, 6, and was it 8? Hang on, let me go back and look. 8, yes. All right, 1, 5, 6, and 8. Let me put the other 4 back in the case, and then we'll be ready to get rocking on this. All right. Sorry again, guys. There's probably going to be a lot of that throat clearing. I know that is a drag to listen to. I took a bunch of stuff trying to get it to calm down before time to do the break, but it hadn't done a whole lot of good so far. We'll see what happens. So in each one of our boxes, we're going to find 3 autograph cards. There's also going to be loads and loads of parallels, inserts, numbered cards, and things like that throughout the break. So we'll kind of hit on those, the high point of those as we go through the first part anyway. So, guys, these jumbo packs are all organized kind of the same way. We've got a lot of paper base. Then when we get to the middle, we find a few chrome parallels. That's what these are that we're looking at now. If they are refractors or numbered or something, of course, I'll point that out. If I don't, then you'll know they're not, although you can probably tell by looking at them if they are or not. And I had to get a few sleeves out there. Our first numbered card of the night heads to the Yankees. That is Medina, and it is numbered to 402. And basically, anytime you see that kind of particular light blue color, you can expect it to be numbered to that. We'll find plenty of these franchise futures insert cards. Now we've got our 2 chrome refractors, and actually, you know what, rather than do these each as we go along, putting them in the sleeves, which I think will just slow us down considerably, I'm just going to set those off to the side. We'll worry about sleeving those later for the most part, and we'll keep them all there nice together, and that way we don't get too slowed down by that. The card collector, we have gotten some really rare and cool stuff out of Jersey Breaks. We hit a Tom Brady autograph football jersey this year. We also hit one of those quarterback of the centuries football jerseys this year, which is signed by 4 of the NFL great quarterbacks. That thing probably sells for $1,000 or more, and absolutely, we've hit some very nice stuff along the way. And we'll find plenty of these as well. The signature on that, I'm sure you can recognize, is it's a facsimile signature. In other words, a printed signature that's not actually signed, although I think there are some variations that are actually signed. That, of course, was not. There are our 2 refractors, and we're back to the paper base. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to see each time going through. And, of course, on the paper base, we are going to kind of cut a path through that. I don't spend much time on that for obvious reasons. If you do want to take a second look at any of those, or you happen to have questions about any of those cards, if they're going by too quickly or something, you can certainly hit me up in chat and let me know, and I can adjust the pace of that. Mackenzie Gore in a purple parallel to 250 for the Padres. And looks like we're about to find our... Well, we're not about to find our first hit, but what we are about to find is an insert. And it's got 2 different teams on it. I forgot we're going to be finding these as we go along. And what we'll do is set each of those over there in a pile, kind of in our what I call our housekeeping area. Those will set right up there. And then at the end of the break, I will use random.org, and we will award each of those, because again, 2 different teams on those cards is pretty much the norm of what we should find going through. Well, card collector, you didn't do too badly tonight. You were trying to guess which boxes random was going to give us. Not too shabby. You got right there in the hunt. You got half of them, so you're definitely on point tonight with that. Bowman Sterling continuity insert. Excuse me, that is for the Phillies with Alec. There's our 2 refractor chrome parallels, and then back to the paper. So at least that's the nice thing about all of the way, really, that Bowman handles. And Topps, of course, same company puts out Bowman, but the way they do all their jumbo packs is great, because you know all the good stuff is just right there in the middle, and you can kind of speed through the paper base a little more, which makes things slightly more efficient anyway. Card collector, the mojo you're working on tonight is 1 card numbered below, what does that say? Numbered below 10? I'm not sure if that says numbered below 10 or numbered below 100, so I'll have to take another look at that one in a minute. Our Connor Scott, our second refractor there. Griffin, 1A, you need some Cincinnati Reds mojo, huh? All right. Well, we'll see what we can do about that. You know I always like to pull those Reds. Yeah, the Tom Brady autographed jersey. What'd that come out of, guys? Does anybody... Well, most of my regular people are probably not on live this time of night, but I think that one came out of Leaf. You know, we opened different brands. We opened Leaf and Gold Rush and TriStar and several different ones. I think the Tom Brady was a Leaf jersey. I'm pretty sure it was. I know the quarterback of the century one came from Leaf. And a lot of times, you know, we open those by the half case, the jerseys and the helmets, and definitely increases your odds a bit when you have, you're looking at opening 4 or 5 at once versus the typical single jersey at a time. So we do some of those too. Barry, you're looking for some White Sox. We'll see what we can do for you on that. This is Kansas City Royals. That is a first Bowman. It's paper. It's numbered to 499. And another one of our cards to go to housekeeping with 2 different teams on it. Looks like we have our first autograph hit of the night. It's for the Angels. It's Jeremiah Jackson. That's the blue parallel. It's numbered to 150. And I do see, I don't know how well you can see that, but there is a little, like, there's a little kind of indention right there in your card, right about where it's on kind of on his leg, where my thumbnail was. I don't know how well that reflects there, but there is a tiny little kind of almost a pinpoint size indention on the surface of that card. Now, I don't always notice that stuff when it goes through. I try to catch it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I do have some vision challenges, unfortunately, from some surgery that went wrong many years ago. So sometimes I don't catch it till later, but if I do see them going through live, I absolutely will point out stuff like that. It's pretty minor imperfection, but nonetheless, because I did happen to see it, that's why I pointed out to you. And of course, that happens from time to time in our chrome products. You'll see some things like that. Card Collector, the helmet is, I believe, TriStar. It should, I think the listing should show you a picture and give you some more detail, but I'm pretty sure the one that's up there right now that you're looking at is probably TriStar. That's to $150 for the Marlins. I have some Gold Rush, but I don't. The reason I'm kind of hesitating as to which one it is, I'm not 100% sure what I've got listed and what I've got coming up, what I've got pending, but I'm pretty sure it's the TriStar that I got listed, and it will be Gold Rush. We'll do later, probably a single boxes though. That was, of course, a Casey Mize refractor there that just went by. And again, sorry guys, all the hacking and snipping and whatnot. I know, not fun. Yeah, Card Collector. I'm not sure if a machine did that or, you know, I mean, obviously people handle these cards when they're being signed, and then they're handled a few different times before they ever get into a pack, and then you do have the machine stuff to deal with as well that can cause issues. There's all kinds of things that can cause an imperfection on a card. You know, we don't find a ton of them, fortunately, but there are a few here and there that we run across for sure. So there's definitely more Bowman Draft coming up besides what we've got listed right now. We'll be I'll be adding more Bowman Draft breaks that will be coming out over the course of the next probably 10 to 14 days. We'll throw in more of this. So I've got several cases of it. Of course, we've still got plenty of Bowman's Best left as well, which has been very good to us recently. This is for the Red Sox. It's numbered to 499, and that one, of course, is paper for Cole Cottom. It's our base chrome insert for the White Sox. And we have another hit out for the Cubbies, Cole Roederer, first Bowman. So the Cubbies and the Angels with our two hits so far. And there's a Cubs refractor, as a matter of fact, as well as one for the Padres. Yeah, I don't know what it is every year around the holidays. Well, not every year, but for the last couple of years, around the holidays, I somehow end up sick. Last year, it's because my sister came home with the creeping crud. Actually, I think she had the flu when she came home, and she gave me the flu. Even though I'd had a flu shot, I still ended up with it last year. This, I don't think, is the flu this year. I think I just caught a little something or another out running around, you know, in the rain and cold and whatnot, but hopefully it's going to pass pretty soon. For the Marlins, this is numbered to 150. It's first Bowman Blue Parallel. It was the paper version. And normally we hang on to our redemptions and we do them at the end of the break, but this one was already face up. So there it is for Jake McCarthy. We will still go to the checklist and verify the team, of course, at the end of the break for that, along with any additional redemptions that we might pull. Typically, I do leave those face down until the very end of the night, but that one kind of crept up on me. I didn't see it in time, so it hit us face up, so we already looked at it. No surprises there. Although I do still need to set it over there in housekeeping, I guess, to remind me that we're going to go to the checklist and check it out. So that is box number 1 of the 4 we're opening tonight is all finished up. And we're moving on down the line into box number 2. Oh my goodness. The A's, Sean Murphy got caught kind of in the wrapper there and took off on his own. I don't see anything on him. I think he's no worse for the wear as best I can tell. It is a paper base, but nonetheless, if one comes out in a way that is unexpected, I do like to still examine it and make sure that we don't have any issues with it, whether it's base or otherwise. In that case, he did look okay. For the White Sox, now, there's a white sock for you. That is a blue parallel chrome to 150 with Alec Hansen. Another one headed up here to our housekeeping area. Our refractors are for the Astros, and there's Nico that came out for the Cubbies. So my Kentucky Wildcats actually have a little bowl game on New Year's Day this year. How about that? I'm looking forward to that. That's probably the best bowl game we've been to. I don't even know in how long. Seems like about 50 years. I don't know if it's really been that long or not, but our football team hasn't been very good. So it's kind of nice to look forward to a bowl game. We might still get ourselves crushed in the game. You never know. But at least we'll be there playing on New Year's Day. Number to 402, that is Adam Hill for the Mets. That is another first Bowman Chrome in that blue parallel. Ruiz for the Dodgers. Jordan Adams for the Angels are our 2 refractors. Griffin, you said lots of doubles. Are you talking about in the base cards or in the chrome parallels? Which are you talking about there? And the truth of the matter is there's just a lot of cards in this break no matter how you cut it. So you are likely to find, particularly in the paper base and in the chrome versions, the chrome base versions, you are likely to find some duplication as you go through because of the fact that it's a high volume of cards in here. I mean, we have, 300 and, I don't know, 380, almost, well, just under 400 cards per box, I think. So you end up being right a hair under 1,600 cards, I think, by the time we do a half case. So with that many cards, no matter what, you're going to have some duplication in the base and in the chrome base as well, usually. For the Pirates, that's Mitch Keller to 250. You're talking about in the parallels, probably in the base refractor. I haven't really been paying enough attention to each individual one to keep track of it. Like, I pay attention to it when we see it, but then I don't retain it. I've kind of, I don't know, bad habit from doing lots of breaks and lots of sorting. I just don't retain that stuff. So unless I see it, if I see it like 6, 8 times, then I'll be like, yeah, okay, now I know I've seen that a bunch. But usually if we've just seen it once or twice in a break this size, I probably haven't paid that much attention to it as far as it being a duplicate. The Marlins, and there's a Gregory Soto for the Tigers. Oh, card collector, do you have the Diamondbacks tonight, card collector? You're talking about the McCarthy redemption there. Is that you tonight with Arizona? You guys know I don't ever retain who's got what team. For one thing, everybody's username is usually different on YouTube than it is on eBay, so then I have to try to remember all of that, and my poor little brain can't retain that much stuff in one night, especially not when I'm all medicated with whatever cold medicine I can find in the house. Nick Madrigal with the Bowman Sterling continuity. Just trying to, well, that's nice, Louis Robert for the White Sox refractor. Trying to calm down all that sniffling and sneezing and coughing before I went live, and I just kind of took whatever I could find. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's probably a bad thing. Griffin, you said Vandy's up, meaning what? Meaning that Vandy is playing well in football, or Vandy's playing well in basketball, or you mean both? But as far as being good for the SEC, oh, absolutely. I always like our SEC teams to do well. The only time I want an SEC team to not do well is if I'm playing them. Other than that, yeah. Liberatore for the Rays with the refractor parallel. Yeah, that's one thing my dad always told us when we were growing up. He's like, you got to be loyal to your conference. You can hate them through the regular season if you want. They can be your rivals all through the regular season, but as soon as you get to the postseason, you got to be all about your conference, because that's, an important part of the postseason. So the Orioles, that's Diaz to 499. That one was paper. We have an autograph. Oh, we have a really nice autograph. How about a little Jared Kelenic to 71, first Bowman. Now in Panini, they call this pattern White Sparkle, and I don't remember what it is called at Topps, if they call it White Sparkle or if they call it something else, but whatever they call it, that's a nice hit if you have the Mets. Of course, he's been traded. He's no longer a Met, but obviously a Met when they produce these cards, therefore a Met on the card and going to the Mets. But for those of you who might be chasing Kelenic, be aware, of course, he was traded to the Mariners in the early part of December, so he'll soon be switching over to that uniform on his cards. But for now, a Met. Oh, card collector, you didn't get in this break. Okay, but when you do, you normally go for the Diamondbacks or the Brewers. Okay. Well, both of those, for the most part, those you can usually pick up, I would say, pretty reasonably. In most products, they're not going to be super high most of the time. Logan Gilbert and Haria. And so too my Reds. My Reds usually don't go very high in anything either. They'll go a little higher in a Bowman product, because we do have well, I'm not going to go so far as to say a decent farm system. We do have some good players coming up through our system right now. So the Bowman side of the Reds definitely would cost me more than the Reds in about any other break. So I know how you feel on that. You sometimes get a little bit of a bargain, but it's harder to get hits. Not as many hits, I think, for my Reds anyway. In Bowman, yes, but in regular tops, it doesn't seem like there are as many. Oh, it was numbered under 100 earlier. Okay, see, I couldn't tell earlier if it was supposed to be numbered under 10 or numbered under 100. I meant to go back and look at that post because I glanced over there, and I think I even said, oh, I need to go back and look which one you were saying. And then, silly me, all hopped up on cold medicine. I forgot to go back and look. There you go. This is for the White Sox. It is numbered to 250. It is a paper purple parallel. There's another White Sox franchise futures. We've got an autograph coming out. And there's Caden for the Baltimore Orioles, first Bowman. He's been fairly plentiful in here so far this year. I'd say we have found him a reasonable amount of the time. Card collector, yes, I am a Cincinnati Reds fan. My poor Cincinnati Reds. We've been so terrible for so long, but yeah, I've been a Reds fan since way back in the day, so I kind of stick with my guys through the good and the bad, and these days it's mostly bad, not much good, but maybe we'll turn the corner. We're going to supposedly spend a little more money this winter. Triston McKenzie, that's numbered to 150 for the Indians. That is the blue parallel. It was paper rather than chrome. Another dual team card setting up there. Here's a nice hit for the White Sox. How about your man Nick Madrigal on a first Bowman? So that ought to help you out a little bit. Making life a little happier for the White Sox with that hit, I do believe. Oh, Rafael Iglesias autographed a card you sent him. Well, that was nice. He autographed it and sent it back to you. Well, that's pretty cool. Definitely, there are players who will do that, for sure. I mean, you kind of never know who's going to do it on any given day, but it's always worth a shot. I saw a news story. This has been several months ago now, and I can't remember even where I read it, but and I don't even know if I read it. I might have seen it because I have a clear picture in my head of what the kid looks like, so I don't know if it was a video or if I read it and just had a picture. At any rate, the moral of the story is this. A kid sent off a card to Peyton Manning to have Peyton sign it. And Peyton Manning did sign the card and return it to the kid. And when the kid got it back, I mean, and this kid's probably, I don't know, maybe like early teens, right? Like 13, 14, something like that. When the kid got it back, the autograph on it, he didn't think was quite perfect. Like it had a little smudge or it had something or another he didn't like about it. So he sent it back to ask to have another one signed because he didn't think that one was good enough. I was thinking, wow, kid, you got some cojones on you there, man. That is a first Bowman Travis Swaggerty refractor for the Pirates. I mean, like, if you're Peyton Manning and you're, like, thinking you're doing a good thing signing this card for this kid and sending it back, and then the kid basically sends it back to you as a reject, I mean, that's crazy. That is just crazy. But I guess, who knows if he actually sent it back to him the second time. It's hard to think that he would have, but you never know. I guess Peyton is supposed to, by and large, be a pretty nice guy, so. For the Phillies, that is numbered to 150, blue parallel Colton Eastman. And Oh, there's a red. There's Jonathan India, our first round draft pick. Yet another infielder, because you know what? Hey, the Reds, we don't have enough infielders. Let's draft about 100 more. Ah, Barry, see, you like pulling that Madrigal, right? That was nice. And card collector, yeah, my Reds are probably going to need some luck in 2019 and well beyond. We've been rebuilding, quote unquote, for, oh my gosh, probably the better part of 6 years now. We don't seem to get any better from year to year. Although they are spending a little money this year, so we'll see how that works out for us. Jared Kelenic, Bowman Sterling continuity for the Mets. There was Taylor for my Reds in a refractor. Sorry, my screen was going to sleep. I just had to reach over there and keep it from shutting down on me. Oh, I agree with you, card collector. I would have kept it too if I had gotten that Peyton Manning. No way would I have sent that back and said, oh, hey, man, this is not perfect. Will you just send me another one? No, I would not have done that. Maybe the kid kept it and then just sent it back and said just sent a note and said you messed up the first one, send me another one. Either way, I don't really remember all the specifics. It's been quite some time ago that I saw the article or saw the video of the kid, but at any rate, the point was I couldn't believe he actually sent it back. But the larger detail of that is at least we know Peyton Manning does sign some things and send them back. So, Latchman's here. Hey, Latchman, how are you tonight? For the Cubbies, this is paper to 250. It's the purple parallel for Ezekiel Pagan, something along those lines. Anyway, there's Caden again for the Orioles, and there's a Medina. Both are chrome refractors. Yeah, I'm trying to think where it was that I saw that. And, you know, the places where I tend to read that sort of stuff, it was probably in one of them, but I couldn't tell you for sure, like, which one. It might have been Bleacher Report somewhere along the way, or it could have been on the Beckett website. I read some of that stuff Ryan puts in there. Could have been on the Panini website. I just can't remember where I saw it, but I distinctly remembered it was the kid and his dad, and the kid was like so excited and proud that he got it back, but then so bummed that it wasn't perfect. And it was the kid, you know, who was saying, yeah, so I'm gonna get him to fix it. Thinking, might not be a great idea, kid, but there we have the A's and the Red Sox for our refractors. Oh, no, Griffin, you don't have to worry about me, man. I will definitely get us through the break. I mean, last year when I had the flu, I did not miss a single night of breaking. Now, I felt pretty bad, some of them, but I didn't miss any of them, so you don't have to worry about me, man. I power right on through. That's to 499, Jameson Hannah for the A's. That's paper parallel. And I don't think this is the flu this time. It's just some kind of weird creeping crud. That is the Kansas City Royals autograph for Chris Bubic, whichever you say, Bubic, probably. Cody Clemens, that's Rogers' little offspring, I do believe. Yeah, I think part of the reason I catch so much stuff is I'm on some medication. It's actually a chemo drug, but I'm not taking it for cancer purposes. I have RA, And they have me, they started me on this chemo drug a while back, I guess about a year ago, maybe. Been that long? Maybe it has. I don't know. Anyway, it lowers my immune system response, so sometimes I'm more susceptible to catching stuff than I used to be. It's the problem. This is numbered to 499. It is Griffin. How do you say that, guys? Conine? You know that's wrong, right? Because I know that's wrong. I always mispronounce them. But it was a refractor to 499. Of course, first Bowman for the Blue Jays. This is the White Sox with a Delgado first Bowman refractor, and another Jordan Adams for the Angels. I say another, but I'm pretty sure we had a Jordan Adams refractor earlier. Not 100% sure, but reasonably sure. Sorry, little sidestep there. Card collector, did I hear the one about a kid who sent letters to all the NFL teams to write a letter back so he could decide which team to like? The Panthers sent a signed helmet to the kid, and the other teams never responded. Huh. Well, that's pretty interesting. Well, so I guess the kid's a Panthers fan then, obviously. Wonder how old was that kid? I didn't see that. That's pretty smart, though, on the kid's part. He could have potentially ended up with a lot of swag if everybody else had responded the way the Panthers did. But either way, smart kid, right? Let's figure out who's the most persuasive. To 402 for the Cardinals, Lucan Baker, blue chrome parallel, the light blue. There's another Sisto Sanchez refractor. I think it's a second one. That is definitely a second Jonathan India refractor because I remember commenting on the first one. Pretty sure that is a second one. Yeah, that's pretty crazy that none of the other teams responded. Like, you would have figured somebody in marketing or PR or something for all those teams would have, whipped out some kind of letter, even if you just sent the kid like a team photograph, even if it wasn't autographed or anything. I mean, you would think you would have sent some kind of response. But I guess those other 31 teams missing out. And, of course, Carolina Panthers were recently sold, and I guess the new owner figures he needs some fans. I don't know. You said he was 8 or 9? Yeah. Griffin Mike Brown took him off his Christmas list. Yeah. Oh, hey, we've got a little orange. How about that, kids? Our first orange of the evening is headed to the Red Sox. So numbered to 25, you have Tristan Casas. That is first Bowman. It is paper. But first Bowman to 25, always a happy and welcome sight. And this is about to make somebody really happy. And I don't even think that this team went very high tonight, because I remember looking at it feeling like it was about time to hit a Casey Mize. And I looked at the price and thought, if we do, somebody's got a bargain, and you really got a bargain, because look at that. That's numbered to 75. That is a handsome card indeed. If you happen to have Detroit tonight, you did exceedingly well for your money. Of course, Casey Mize, the overall #1 draft pick. Fantastic looking kid. So if he lives up to the hype, that's going to make somebody a lot of money a few years down the road. Scott's here. Hey, Scott. How are you tonight? Are you hanging in there? All right, down in... I forgot. I started to say Lincoln County, but you're not Lincoln County, are you? Are you Boyle County? What county are you in? Casey County, maybe. Why can't I think of what county you're in? Apparently, I don't know my Kentucky geography very well. Hi, Dan. Yes, Dan, that is a nice hit for the Tigers. I'm glad you got it. I know you buy the Tigers some. I'm glad we hit that for you tonight. This is for the Blue Jays, and that, again, I think that parallel, guys, is, well, it's definitely called White Sparkle for Panini. Does anybody know what it's called for Topps? Do they call it the same thing, or do they call it something different? Sometimes they use the exact same terminology that Panini uses over at Topps and Bowman, and sometimes they don't, in terms of what they call the parallels. All right, we are last box mojo time. Although, honestly, we've done pretty well up to this point. But I think, you know, last box mojo can still deliver us some heat out of here, hopefully. We're going to give it a go anyway. That, oh, that was base. I was seeing this one refract. Brady Singer for the Royals as our Bowman Sterling continuity. And then Sean Murphy for the A's. Matt Sauer for the Yankees, the New York Yankees. So when do we think that Machado and Bryce Harper are going to make their deals? Anybody have any speculation on that? Card collector, you're saying that last box mojo's going to have another autograph numbered under 100? Well, maybe. I don't know. We've had a couple of them already, haven't we? So, but maybe. You never know. This is numbered to 50. This is our first gold of the night. It's headed to the Rockies with Terrin Vavra? Something probably not even close to that. Both of the refractors went to the Astros out of that pack. You hope neither of them sign with the White Sox? Why is that, Barry? Just because it'll mess the payroll up and that sort of thing? That would be my concern on a team with more limited budget. Not that the White Sox have a totally limited budget, but they're not freewheeling spenders like you get with the Dodgers and the Yankees either. And I would be afraid if you didn't have a ton of payroll and a ton of cap space, it could mess you up. Colorado Rockies blue parallel to 150. We just pulled the guy to straight up 50. Now we get him to 150 as well. So a couple of back-to-back came out there for the Rockies on our parallels. Or are you more worried about team chemistry? Or do you just not like the players? I guess any of those things could be. That you don't think about the chemistry or the money, or you just don't like the players. Yeah, the money. Okay, yeah, and you think they'll cost a lot more than they're worth. Yeah, I mean, it's all relative. It just depends on what they can deliver. That makes a big difference as to how they're viewed on a return on investment perspective. To 402, the Rangers. That is Cole Winn. You know, if they suddenly come in and turn you around and you get to the World Series, then you might be like, yeah, that's probably worth it. Well, if you win the World Series. But on the other hand, if they just marginally improve things, it's tough. But it's just hard to build around them when you have so much money invested in them. Unless, you know, you're the Yankees or the Dodgers. Or I guess in this case, too, maybe the Phillies, because they do have... The Phillies do have a lot of money to deal with, so somebody like that could more easily afford it. Well, Yeah, I don't, I see where you're going with the Machado thing. Barry is saying in chat that he's not sure he would want Machado, I'm paraphrasing, because he's a bit of a slacker and he doesn't want that rubbing off on the young guys that make up the core of the team. Nice Mackenzie Gore refractor. So, yeah, I mean, Machado is an excellent player. There's no way around that. But there definitely are times where you can see that he doesn't hustle. And then, of course, he famously, when asked about it in the World Series or whatever, just kind of said, yeah, that's, that's not me. I'm not going to be Mr. Hustle. I kind of thought, wow, guy, I mean, you're in line for a mega payday, 300 plus million potentially, and you're going to basically say, I don't really work that hard unless I'm in the mood. I don't know. I guess when you're that good, you can say whatever and still get your money. This is for the Oakland A's. It's numbered to 402. Dallas Woolfolk on a first Bowman. Nick Pratto, Kansas City Royals. He's been playing right here in Lexington for the Lexington Legends. They are the single A farm team for the Royals. Oh, Dan. Oh, yeah, we did pull you a nice Rhys Hoskins, didn't we? Yeah, we've had we've actually had a really good 2018 as a whole in terms of things that we pulled. Of course, nothing's going to top that Ohtani. It's not every day I'm going to pull a card that's going to sell for just under $100,000. So that's not going to happen maybe ever again. You never know. This is Grant Little for the Padres. That's blue paper to $499. But just in general, I think we've had a lot of really nice hits come out this year in all the sports, and we've had a lot of high value stuff coming out. So we've been on a pretty good little run with it. Hopefully it's going to stay that way. Red Sox, first Bowman with Tristan Casas. Last night, that case of Bowman's Best, man, that thing was on fire. That was a ridiculously good case of Bowman's Best last night. So I was very pleased with that. We did well with our half case of Contenders basketball, which was the other thing we opened last night too. So as a whole, I would say we pulled a lot of high value stuff. Some obviously higher value than others, but of course, as long as your return on investment is good, that's the main part. As long as we eventually, overall, we make you some money, that's the part that matters. Or, of course, if you collect for yourself, then we got to find the teams and players that you want. But oh yeah, card collector. We did have that one-of-one printing plate last night in Contenders. I was thinking more of the Luka being kind of the star of that show, which it still is. But yeah, we did have the one-of-one printing plate as well. For the A's, there is Greg Deichmann. Then Jonathan for the Diamondbacks. We're closing in on it. 3 packs left. Oh, you were asking if I was in disbelief when I hit the Ohtani. Oh, well, I mean, I knew immediately, obviously, that we had a really nice hit. But I didn't know quite how rare it was at that point, and we were actually going back and forth about it in chat. Like, are there more? Is this the only one? It was out of original Bowman, and we pulled the Ohtani where he signed his name in Japanese. The one that you see in the marketing materials for Bowman, the Bowman that came out in the spring, not Bowman Chrome that came out in the fall. And so it was the exact card. I mean, same number, the card that was in the marketing materials, that blue parallel. So it was only numbered to 150. But yet the fact that it was signed in Japanese, we knew was unique. But at that point, we didn't quite realize how unique it was. So we were discussing that in chat, and, you know, there were all kinds of figures being tossed around. At that point, I was thinking, maybe 25 grand or something. Then as time went on, and I was going back and forth with the owner, this is the Royals to 250 paper parallel. And we started, you know, realizing that, hey, we haven't seen any others like this. It could potentially be the only one signed in Japanese. Then I started trying to find out the answer. Well, of course, Topps isn't going to tell me or respond to me. But I did get Ryan, who writes for Beckett, saw it in my Twitter feed, and he got the answer from Topps, sort of. This is a nice hit for the Rays. This is Matthew Liberatore. It is first Bowman to 499 refractor for the Rays. A nice hit. So Ryan reached out to Topps, and the only thing they would tell him is that it was an extremely limited number of them. Well, I never saw another one, so I do believe it really was the only one signed in Japanese. And at that point, my customer, the one who hit the card, had an offer for it raw of like 80 grand from somebody that I know was a legit offer. The offer actually came through me first because he saw it in my Twitter feed or whatever, which I don't use my Twitter very much, but anyway. And had vetted the guy, so it was a legit offer, but my customer sent it off to have it graded. It came back graded 9.5 with centering is actually what we got knocked off on. You know, surface came back a perfect 10. Corners and edges, I think, came back 10, but centering came back 9. Alec Thomas and the D-backs is the last one out. So I don't know ultimately what he did with it. I mean, he had that offer. That was for the card raw. So graded, I would say he probably could have gotten upwards of that, maybe closer to 90. But I don't know if he ended up selling it and taking, you know, the 80,000 offer, if he got another offer, or if he kept the thing. But anyway, yeah, that was definitely the highest value hit that we had all year. Because, I mean, like I said, it's not every day you're going to pull a card that sells for that kind of money. So, yeah, Dan, as far as I know, that is the only one like it. I mean, as I said, we never saw another one surface, and at that point, it was before the Superfractor had come out. So it absolutely was like the card to have. I overnighted it to the guy, and he overnighted it to have it graded and had it, you know, sent back to him in like 24, 48 hours as well. And from where I was sitting, I was like, man, if I were you, bud, I would be getting that thing sold like right away if you intend to actually sell it, because, you know, you never know when the Superfractor came out if that was going to affect it or other things were going to affect it, because that was quite the card to have at that point in time. Still, I imagine a pretty good card to have. So why do I not see Bowman Draft on here? Did I go past it, or is it going to be on the next page? There's Bowman's Best. I guess it's on the next page. I wouldn't have thought it would have been a second page back, but apparently it is. We're just going to verify the Jake McCarthy, guys, is what we're doing here. Class of 2018 autograph is the card set. I mean, he's going to be the Diamondbacks, but you guys know how I do this. So whenever the checklist is available on a manufacturer's website, we're always going to go there, and we're always going to look it up, because that's just kind of how I roll. So it's not really a draft pick autograph, is it, necessarily? But is it, what did I say it was again? Class of 28 autograph. There's all that cold medication kicking in, isn't it? I'm like thinking, what is it I just said? Yeah, okay, so here we go. We should find, there he is. There's Jake McCarthy, Arizona Diamondbacks. So he is all nice and happily verified. So we can knock him off of our to-do list. But we do have a little other housekeeping to take care of here. And that's these cards. So each of these cards, as you can see, has two different teams on it. So what I'm going to do with these, we're going to go to random.org and put in left side and right side. It's pretty simple. And which it we'll do random 3 different times. Anytime I have less than 9 or fewer items in a list, I'm going to do random 3 times. If I have 10 or more, I'm only going to do random once. Other than obviously when we're just picking out boxes, you know, to open for a case. I don't do that multiple times. We just do that once. But I'm talking about awarding cards. So we're going to type in left side and right side. I'm going to do random 3 times. First 2 won't count, and the third one will determine where those are going to go. All right, so ignore the first one. Ignore the second one. Here comes our third and final. There you'll see 3 times, and it came out, there's our date and time stamp too, of course. It came out to the right-hand side of the card. So I'm going to put the first one of these in a sleeve and then circle on the back so that I know where the rest of these go. So we'll take a quick little buzz right through here. So that's going to be Nationals, Royals, Reds, Braves, Indians, Nationals, Royals, Braves, Blue Jays, Diamondbacks, Indians, Red Sox, Pirate, Ray, and Indian. So that's how each of those have been awarded. Now we can do our little recap here. Card collector, I think you're talking about. You said there was a company that offered $65,000 for an Ohtani. I believe you're talking about Blowout that offered that for the Ohtani Superfractor out of Bowman that came out in the spring. That's the same card set that the Ohtani I was talking about came out of. However, I don't think anybody would have sold that Superfractor for that price, because even though $65,000 sounds like a lot, at that time that would have been a low price for that card. All right, so we're recapping our color. This is paper to $250, paper to $499. That's chrome to $402, chrome to $402, chrome to $150, chrome to $50. That's not numbered, but that's that pattern that I keep calling white sparkle. We'll just call it sparkle. I don't know if that's what Topps calls it or not, but that's what we're going to call it tonight. This is orange paper to $25. Chrome to $402, paper to $499, paper to $250, chrome to $150, paper to $150, paper to $250, paper to $499, chrome to $250, chrome to $402, chrome to $150, paper to $150, paper to $499, chrome to $150, paper to $499, chrome to $250, and chrome to $402. So those are our numbered parallels that are not autographed. Our autographs, Jake McCarthy for the Diamondbacks on the redemption, Alek Thomas for the Diamondbacks, Matthew Liberatore to $499. That is, of course, a refractor and a nice hit for the Tampa Bay Rays. There's Triston Casas for the Red Sox. This is an extremely nice hit here. Mr. Casey Mize, numbered to 75 for the Tigers. First Bowman, refractor, and of course, you know, number 75 of 75. You know, I always like it when they're either the first or the last in the series. I don't know why, I just do. For the Blue Jays, a refractor to $499 with Griffin Conine, whatever. Chris, for the Kansas City Royals, first Bowman. Madrigal for the White Sox. Most of these are first Bowman. I don't have to say that part, right? This is Caden for the Baltimore Orioles. This is also a quite nice hit with the sparkle. numbered to 71. Jared Kelenic for the Mets. So another very nice one. Cole Roederer for the Cubbies. And then we started things off with Jeremiah Jackson to 150 for the Angels. So that is our break for tonight of Bowman Draft. And let's put up our spreadsheet information for anybody else who might want to see it, or if you missed it going by the first time, we'll take another quick little look at the information here. So once again, I am projecting this should be out the door to you no later than Monday the 31st, and sometimes that can get out the door sooner, but plan on Monday the 31st, and if I can get it out to you faster than that, of course I will. Consolation cards don't apply tonight because there were tons of cards in here. Every team would have pulled something. And once again, these are the list of our breaks that are coming up here on eBay that are going to be breaking over the next several days. So tomorrow night is a half case of Contenders basketball, the back half of the case we started last night. Another case of Optic football. Saturday is a case of Playbook football, a case of Bowman's Best. Sunday we'll do a single autographed baseball jersey and the back half of this case of Bowman Draft. On Monday, which is New Year's Eve, we're going to start early, 7:30 Eastern, which is 4:30 Pacific. We'll do a 9-box NBA basketball mixer and a 12-box NFL football mixer. The basketball will range anywhere from the 2012-13 season all the way up through the current 18-19 season. The NFL boxes will be from 2013 all the way up through the current 2018 season. On Tuesday night, which is New Year's Day, we're going to start early there too, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. We'll open a half case of TriStar autograph mini helmets, a case of Bowman's Best, and a case of Optic football on Wednesday the 2nd. And going forward, we're going to start at 9:30 Eastern instead of 10. That's going to be our new start time probably through the rest of the winter. We'll go with 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. So on Wednesday night, we'll open a Gold Rush autographed basketball jersey, an 8-box case of Playbook, and a full 12-box case of Contenders basketball. On Thursday night, we'll open a Hit Parade autographed football jersey, a 6th case of Bowman's Best baseball, and another 16-box master case of Revolution basketball. So that is what's coming up in the days ahead. And Dan, I see you typed in there, when's the other half of this breaking? I'm going to assume you probably saw me go over that just now, but in case you didn't, Sunday is when we'll be doing the back half of this case of, excuse me, a Bowman Draft. But of course you can jump in on Saturday too, jump into Bowman's Best, you know. All right, so I guess that is then it for me right now. I think I'm wrapped up for tonight. I'm going to try to call it an early night and see if we can't kick this cold in the rear end so that we don't have to deal with, you all don't have to deal with listening to me hack and cough for the next month. All right, thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate you being here. We will catch up with you back at it tomorrow night. So see you next time. Thanks all.